I'm Derek Jahyém Jombo-Ogboi. I was born and raised here in Benin City. So I practice other forms of art, creative art, but for now, I'm concentrating more on paintings now and graffitis on the wall. I would say I've been an artist since the days of embryo, but it sounds funny if I say that. Ever since I started having memories, I've always done something creative. But I'll go back to the time when I used to take the cartons from the house and, put cover bottles and try to make a cart of products and cartons and draw on every paper and replicate drawings. Even before I got to primary school, it was that early for me. I think the turning point for me in my career was actually having to leave art school, started relating with older contemporaries and studying books, having relationships, having healthy professional relationships with older artists, and then developing myself off conversations we had, studying old masters, drawing rigorously as an exercise. Whether I was ready or whether I was in the mood or not, I just had to draw. And sketching these works by these old masters, be it the drawing or paintings, it gets you interested in wanting to know who they were. And when I say old masters, I don't just mean classical painters. I also mean people like Haring, Basquiat, Jackson Pollock, as well as Ang, Sargent, and everybody, yeah. The level of technique and the things they did at the time when there was little or nothing available, you understand? So that inspires me to always push myself, and it's really interesting to see the way they work and the way they thought at the time. Yeah, my creative process first starts from conceptualizing an idea. Sometimes it depends. I can have the idea just staring at the clouds, or looking at the fabric draped properly in my mom's room, or just seeing a model, a girl, her skin tone, her forms, or a guy, his skin tone or his forms. That first of all. Then I have to make a couple of thumbnail sketches, conceive the idea multiple times. And after making thumbnail sketch, I have the model come over to the studio, source the fabric, drape the model. These days they don't really sit for long, but I can mix the skin tone from life and photograph just so I can work with that pose. And afterwards, if I'm using acrylic, because I could use acrylic and oil simultaneously, and you might not even know which is my acrylic or which is my oil. After illustrating, I mix out my tones and I block out and then start painting from there. I don't really have a planned mode. The paintings, I just allow the process just take me, because basically sourcing out fabric and seeing the model, I've already painted it in my head. So when I get to the canvas, we just keep moving from there. Yeah, my work in this exhibition speaks to it in different ways, because if you look at the world today, it's really very fast moving and it's great. It's causing a lot of development, But then again, you cannot rule out the dangers to a fast moving society, because a lot of people are moving and paying less attention to key core values that we should actually pay attention to. And it's what is causing most societal problems today. And it goes on and on. So as an artist, this painting is actually going to make people pause and reflect and absorb all that valuable core principles that regular day-to-day fast-moving world will not necessarily allow you just assimilate. Even when I try my best to do a commission painting for somebody, one way or the other, there will be a reflection of me in it. It's either by way of plants in the background that I used to see when I was growing up, or my mom's fabric, in that painting, or one old flower vase she has, or one old ceramic plate of hers, something of that nature. Something about me personally have to creep in the painting, and that's what makes it very enjoyable for me. Like this particular piece I'm working on is actually having two fabrics, and they belong to my mom. Like the darker one is over 15 years old. She kept it long till this time, and when you see her fabric and you see how you know that she owns this fabric, and she's so proper with them. And that's one great influence to me as an artist personally. And growing up with that knowledge and seeing that kind of thing, there's no way I could take it off my DNA. Allowing people feel, not actually telling them what or how to feel, being in solitude in my studio and actually creating that work honestly. And then behind the scenes, seeing that work is actually having a certain effect on people and that they can actually tap or relate with personally, even if it's not something that was vividly painted, but they can actually relate to something. That's success for me. Like, I'm really fulfilled, I'm satisfied like that. Painting in the classical way, for me, is more of a therapy than actually trying to prove a point. Because if you look around my studio, there are a lot of write-ups in the ceiling, on the walls. That's who I really am. I'm not really that much of a put-together person. I'm all over the place and I'm very hyped up. But painting classically for me was to actually train myself to calm down, and that's why I left the school system, because there was no school institution around here that could really drill me to actually go through that form of therapy. So painting this way for me was a therapy I was looking for. This very one behind me, it's actually an encounter between me and the muse herself, from where she's coming from and where I'm coming from as well as the artist. And that encounter was so great. It's of real life experience, you know, and the things we share in common as an individual, and also the way I portray myself as the painter in the piece as well. So as time progressed, you guys will also see that. The most challenging part of creating the works was actually having a conversation with someone and you have a conversation with someone and that conversation actually blow up your mind like 5 seasons worth of information. That's the kind of information you have. But now you have to break that thing down into just one scene and tell that whole story in just one particular scene, you know. So brewing this idea, thinking, and that was crazy. And I'll come up with memories you have of this person and having the person pose briefly and go back and trying to set the person on a scene that is only in your mind, and actually making sure that everything is proportional, like they were actually in front of you while you did them. Yeah, I hope that when they encounter the exhibition, which is definitely going to be a great show, and they see the body of works from different artists, and also they get to see mine, they're able to pause and reflect on basic core values and principles that humans are actually lacking from today's fast-pacing world. They are able to extract all the necessary core values and principles that they will take to their personal life and use to replenish whatever area of expertise, you know, and it helps their whole entire life. The most important and biggest lesson I've learned is patience, and that every good thing takes time. And for every good thing that takes time, there's a process to it. And that process, you have to trust it. That's where this quote comes to mind, that your pain, which is the process now, is the breaking of the shell that encloses your understanding. It's the bitter portion which the physician within you heals your sick self. So trust that physician and drink his remedy in silence and tranquil. Khalil Gibran. So that's what, you know, the whole experience for art is the manifestation of that quote.